Hello from Dubai and COP28. My name is Randy Bell. I'm a distinguished fellow at the Atlantic Council Global Energy Center and an associate partner at Denton's Global Advisors. It is fantastic to be back on Atlantic Council live from COP, a program we created 2 years ago in Glasgow at COP26. I'm here with Laura Lane, Executive Vice President, Chief Corporate Affairs and Sustainability Officer at UPS. Laura, thank you so much for joining us today.
Jazzed to be here with you.
So how have you found COP so far?
So far, it's been a great set of discussions talking about the importance of logistics for healthcare delivery and the intersection of equitable access to healthcare and the climate challenges, and fabulous discussions about the critical importance of partnership for decarbonizing the transport sector, given all the challenges that we face in this space.
How does your organization, how does UPS what do you hope to see come out of COP this year? What are the objectives that you have being here, but sort of broader, what would you like to see?
You know, from our perspective, we really want to see an understanding of the practical realities that our industry sector faces and the public-private partnerships that are needed to drive some of the solutions that we think are possible now and into the future, and real support for driving innovation, especially in the aviation space, because that's one of the biggest challenges for our company in terms of achieving our goal of being carbon neutral by 2050.
Are you hoping to see more effort in the SAF space in aviation, or are there other technologies that you're looking at?
You know, for the challenges that our company face, it's all of the above. We need more public-private partnerships driving the scale and utilization of emissions-reducing technologies on the ground, but of course, anything that can be done to address the challenges in the air, and an understanding of what it'll take, not just to produce SAF, because the technology and the know-how are there, but how we scale it and make it widely available and cost effective for everyone to use.
That's going to be a really, really important challenge. And I know there's a lot of effort being made towards that, with the Agriculture Innovation Mission for Climate is starting to do some work on SAF, which is a US-UAE partnership. And there's a number of other things. So I'm really looking forward to seeing more and seeing how UPS engages on that. Pivoting to a broader question, the first stock take concludes this year at COP28, and results have already confirmed that the world is not on track to limit warming to 1.5 degrees C. How is UPS developing or implementing strategies aimed at reducing emissions to meet these net zero by 2050 targets?
So I want everyone to understand that United Parcel Service is actually United Problem Solvers. And so that is a big problem. And so our company's response is use every available technology that's scalable now to drive down our emissions as fast as possible. So we're not part of the problem, and instead we're part of the solution. And given the scale of our company, we operate in 200 countries and territories. We have a big footprint. The more we can do to demonstrate how emissions reduction can be done at scale, I think helps others then follow our lead. So our objective is use all existing technologies now to lower on the ground, lean into innovations in the aviation space, send the demand signals needed in the aviation space so that we can be part of driving down emissions on the ground and in the air. Our commitment is to do it with a clear roadmap. By 2025, we're going to have 40% of our alternative fleet, our ground fleet running on alternative fuels. We're going to have 25% of our facilities running on renewable electricity. That's a down payment on our commitment to driving emissions out of our operations. Fast forward to 2035, 30% of our air fleet is going to be running on sustainable aviation fuel. 100% of our facilities are going to be running on renewable electricity. And we're doubling down on the innovations needed so that we can cut the emissions by 50% for every package delivered. And how we're going to do it is we're going to measure the steps that we're taking along the way, identify the gaps, and then invest into the solutions needed to close those gaps.
That's fantastic. I wonder if maybe there's an example of sort of making this real for the audience here. Is there a facility or a technology that you implemented over the past couple of years or this year even that really had pretty dramatic results that you could talk about?
So for us, while we're investing in electric vehicles, and by the way, we're scaling up very quickly in those locations where we get the support from the government and the power supply is there. We're obviously moving quickly into electric. But the exciting new technology that we're hoping to scale up is the electric vertical takeoff and landing vehicle.
Really?
And that is going to be super cool. Admittedly, that's for small feeder aircraft movements, but that's going to be an innovation that we hope to bring online into our operations. That's going to be part of the solution for taking emissions out of the air using these all electric aircraft to deliver in rural and hard to reach areas.
That's amazing. When do you think we'll start seeing that?
We're hoping to get regulatory approval as quickly as possible. We're working in a number of different locations to try to get that regulatory approval as fast as it can be, approved. We're going to implement it and put it into our network because it's an all-electric solution that is going to help us in our emissions reduction efforts.
That's fantastic. It leads to my final question, which goes back to something you mentioned at the beginning about public-private partnerships. How do you engage in policy and in these public-private partnerships to really get at, to really create the facilitating environment for the scale you need? What are the types of public-private partnerships that you're developing?
Yeah, so we are working, when I think about sustainable aviation fuel, we're working with governments at the local and federal levels to help them understand what our needs are, the demand signals that we're willing to send, but helping them understand some of the bottlenecks in the market that need to be overcome with the kinds of incentives needed to drive down the costs. So we're talking with governments around the world about what it'll take to scale up production of sustainable aviation fuel. We're also talking with governments about what we need in terms of making availability of electric vehicles wider spread. We're big champions for allowing more of the innovative products to cross borders. We'll ship them and we'll also use them within our networks. And so anything that can allow greater ability to access the kinds of green products in our network, but not just in one place in the world, but everywhere around the world, is going to help us be able to scale our green operations globally. And so we're constantly talking to governments about how we run our operations and what it takes in terms of the policy environment to be able to deliver green. And we think when they understand our operations and they understand the policy framework needed, together we can bring a greener future.
That's really fantastic. We're wrapping up here. Is there anything that we didn't talk about that you want to mention to the audience out in Atlantic Council land?
I would just say that UPS has a sustainability roadmap that's grounded in integrity, that's grounded in commercially responsible, financially possible solutions. And so we are on a journey to deliver a greener future in our logistics operations, and we're committed to supporting the kinds of innovations as well as the demand signals needed so that it's not just us greening our supply chains. We're doing it in partnership with our customers and helping drive greener solutions for more companies around the world.
That's remarkable. Thank you so much. And thank you for being here at COP28 and engaging with the Atlantic Council. Thank you all watching. Hope to see you again next time on Atlantic Council Live from COP. Thank you so much.